Mitt Romney and a group of 10 Republican senators have offered Joe Biden a deal on stimulus. But how did Joe Biden respond? Let's discuss the details in this video. But before we do, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. I'd also like to thank my sponsor, Webull. They've partnered with me to provide free stocks for my viewers, valued up to $3,700. It's completely free and takes 2 minutes. All you need to do is open an account using the link in the description of this video. Feel free to sell the stocks immediately to use the money if you'd like. Just make sure to fully open your accounts and then click on the green button that says Get Free Stocks. Okay, Mitt Romney's offer is a really big deal because it has the support of 10 senators, meaning that if all Democrats support it as well, we would meet that 60-vote threshold, which would be filibuster proof, and get a stimulus package approved quickly. But let's take a look and see how Joe Biden's administration responded.
The Biden administration is trying to urgently pass its top priority, a nearly $2 trillion plan to help millions of jobless and hungry Americans who just suffered through the worst economic year this nation has seen since the end of World War II. The plan includes $1,400 stimulus payments, enhanced unemployment assistance for small business, money for childcare and aid for states and schools, increased support for vaccines, and a $15 minimum wage.
Okay, I just want to point out the fact that Republicans' proposal is expected to reduce that $1,400 stimulus check to $1,000. And guys, let me know in the comments, but in my opinion, that is a complete deal breaker because Joe Biden promised to deliver those $2,000 stimulus checks. They are also expected to reduce that weekly unemployment boost to $300 per week, keeping it at what it's at currently. Remember, Joe Biden wants to increase that to $400 per week. Of course, it is also expected to remove that money for state and local governments, remove that $15 minimum wage, but still include that money for the vaccine
increase. But as the Republican Party struggles with its own identity, the question is whether President Biden will be able to deliver on the compromise he promised the nation in his inaugural address just 11 days ago, or whether Democrats will plow ahead with the plan all by themselves. Joining me now to discuss all of this is President Biden's top economic advisor, director of the National Economic Council, Brian Deese. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining me. I know you've seen this morning a group of 10 Republican senators led by Susan Collins, and it includes my next guest, Rob Portman, sent a letter to President Biden. It outlines a proposal for compromise, and in that they're requesting a meeting with President Biden to discuss it. Will that meeting happen?
We've received the letter, and we certainly will be reviewing it over the course of the day.
I also want to point out that at the time of recording this video, the exact details of Republicans' proposal have not been released. So by the time you're watching this, those details might have been released, but currently we just have rumors as to what we expect to be included.
What I will say is that the provisions of the president's plan, the American Rescue Plan, were calibrated to the economic crisis that we face. As you know, we just lived through the worst economic year since the demobilization in the wake of World War II. Just this week, 1 million more Americans filed claims for unemployment insurance. 30 million Americans reported they didn't have enough food to eat. We're in a unique crisis, and the elements of this plan really were designed and are designed to take on that crisis head on. How are we going to get shots in people's arms? How are we going to get schools reopened so parents can get back to work? And how are we going to provide that direct relief to those families and those businesses that are struggling the most? So that's the theory behind the plan. We're certainly open to input from anywhere where we can find a constructive idea to make this package as effective as possible. But the president is uncompromising when it comes to the speed that we need to act at to address this crisis.
But are you willing to negotiate any points of your proposal?
Okay, that was a really important statement because she asked him, is Biden willing to compromise on anything on this deal? He essentially said yes, he's willing to compromise, but the one thing he's not willing to compromise on is the speed at which we approve stimulus. Biden is adamant that he wants to do this through bipartisan support, but he will not waste any time. He will give Republicans a couple of weeks, and then he will move forward with budget reconciliation if Republicans don't get on board. Of course, we'll have to wait and see when the details come out from this proposal from Republicans and see how much Biden is willing to compromise. First of all, I think the main deal breaker is going to be that stimulus check. If Republicans try and reduce that to $1,000, that's going to be a tough sell because Biden ran promising those $2,000 stimulus checks. Remember, when those Senate Democrats were running in Georgia, he said if you vote for them, he directly said, if you vote for them, we will immediately approve $2,000 stimulus checks.
Proposal, or for example, are you wedded to the number, the price tag, $1.9 trillion? Are you willing to come down from that?
We really need to focus on the elements of this package and what they're intended to do. So if we look at the vaccine distribution effort, for example, the money that was passed in December is quickly running down, and we need more resources urgently to stand up the vaccine distribution efforts, the vaccine procurement efforts that we know are necessary if we're going to get our arms around this crisis. So if we want to have a viable chance at getting schools to reopen, we're going to have to provide more resources to schools. And if we don't act now, the cost of that is going to be greater going forward. So we're certainly open to ideas.
Okay, that was Joe Biden's top economic advisor, and he basically said, yes, we are willing to compromise, but we are not willing to compromise on getting this deal done quickly. And again, the exact details of the Republican proposal has not been released yet, so we'll have to wait and see exactly how Biden responds once those details are released. Now, this is a big test for Biden because on the one side, he's promised Republicans to work in a bipartisan fashion, but on the other side, he also promised the American people these $2,000 stimulus checks. So if Republicans are not willing to compromise on this, we might be in a stalemate, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. Democrats are already working on that budget reconciliation at the same time while they continue to negotiate with Republicans. Just in case negotiations break down, they can move quickly to get that passed through budget reconciliation. However, as I said earlier in this video, Mitt Romney's offer is a big deal because it would bring this to a 60-vote approval, meaning it could not be blocked by any type of filibuster. And it is also testing Joe Biden's words because Joe Biden promised to work in a bipartisan fashion. And to be honest with you, this is a bit of a bipartisan offer, but only if Republicans are willing to meet them halfway. This is about a $600 billion offer. Joe Biden's plan is about $2 trillion, so we'll have to wait and see. Will Mitt Romney and his team of 10 Republicans be willing to meet in the middle and come to about $1 to $1.2 trillion? That would be an actual bipartisan deal. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But this is Joe Biden's first major test to see if he will follow through with both of his promises. One, to work at a bipartisan level, and two, to approve those $2,000 stimulus checks. But in any case, if we get this deal done through bipartisan support, the good news is we might get this done more quickly because budget reconciliation would take a lot longer. I've talked about this in a lot of my videos. That would be expected to be passed in mid-March at the absolute soonest because that budget reconciliation process is very, very cumbersome, guys. And mid-March is honestly pretty optimistic for that process. But if we get this done at a bipartisan level, we could have this done in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Now, the only hurdle there would be the impeachment trial, right? Because that is expected to begin next week. And we're not sure how much of a wrench that will throw in stimulus plans and how much that might slow it down. But again, Republicans are expected to be trying to lower those stimulus checks to $1,000 and even make them more targeted. And by more targeted, they mean that less people might qualify for those. They might lower that income threshold. So for example, only those who make $40,000 or less per year would qualify for the full $1,000 check. And then anything above that would then lower your stimulus check more and more until you're eventually phased out. Of course, they want to remove that money for state and local governments and only give you a $300 per week unemployment boost. So guys, let me know in the comments what you think about that plan. Obviously, I am a strong supporter of Joe Biden's plan, and I want that $2 trillion package approved. The people need help. Guys, and even top economists have said that we are in a good position to help the American people because interest rates are really, really low, and the benefits of taking debt out now would far outweigh the costs. Mitt Romney and top Republicans wrote a letter to Joe Biden and the White House, giving him a chance to uphold his promise of unity and bipartisan work, and they said in his letter that they still will include $160 billion for the vaccine. It also will include stimulus checks. However, like I said before, they stated it would be more targeted. However, they did not include the details of that. They did say that it would include child and adult dependents. That is really good news because previously adult dependents have been left out in a lot of these stimulus proposals. Again, the letter stated that they do want to extend that federal unemployment boost at the current level of $300 per week. And at the very end of this letter, they said that we recognize your call for unity and want to work in good faith with your administration to meet this health, economic, and societal crisis. So again, they are essentially calling out Joe Biden, hey, we're trying to make a genuine effort to work at a bipartisan level. Will you meet us halfway? But again, will Republicans meet them halfway? Because this offer is only $600 billion, will they be willing to meet Biden halfway and come to about $1 trillion? Because it's easy to call Joe Biden outright, but Republicans have to be willing to meet him halfway as well. But we'll have to wait and see what happens, guys. The details of this proposal are expected to be released later today, this Monday, and Joe Biden is having a meeting with Mitch McConnell and the other 9 Republicans as well who made this proposal. That is expected to be 5 p.m. today Eastern time, so we should have a lot of updates tonight in the next couple of days. Guys, don't forget to subscribe. I will keep you updated on that next stimulus package, including that stimulus check, the unemployment boost, and stimulus for those on Social Security as well. So guys, thank you so much for watching my video, and thank you so much for supporting my channel. It really means the world to me, and I really do appreciate every single view. But guys, stay strong out there. Help is coming soon. And just remember that you will be in a better place and you will make it through this crisis. But guys, with that said, thanks again for watching and have a great day.